Christy, and today I'm going to show you how I make applesauce in the slow cooker. This recipe is so simple, but I need to let you know in advance that this is not a recipe for canning. This I'm going to actually freeze instead of canning. I have a vacuum sealer and I'm going to use that. So first thing I'm going to do, the first thing I do is wash the apples. Then I'm just going to peel them, slice them, and throw them in the crock pot. This is the boring part, so I'll speed it up for you. You don't even have to peel them if you don't want. I just prefer it that way. Oh, just quickly, I forgot to mention, I don't use a specific type of apple. I went to the orchard and got whatever was ready to be picked that day. I waited a little late, so I didn't have as many options. I know some of these are Mutsu, Granny Smith, and Yellow Delicious, but I don't actually know what the other ones are. I just picked whatever was available. I have my crock pot filled with cut up apples. I am not adding sugar at this point. I want to wait and see what the finished product tastes like before I add sugar. Sometimes the apples are really sweet and you don't even need sugar. So the next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of water, not much, just enough to kind of get them going. And I also want to let you know, it doesn't matter what size crock pot you have, this recipe will work. You just have to watch it. There's no set time for this recipe. You just have to keep watching it. And I have so many apples left over, I think I'm gonna have to do this again tomorrow. Honestly, I have several crock pots. I could just pull out another one. We'll see how I feel about that in a minute. So we're gonna put the top on this, set it on low, and I am going to put it in for 4 hours. Well, 4.5 hours because I messed up. It's not going to take that long, probably. It really, like I said, depends on how soft your apples are. So I'm going to let this go for an hour without even checking on it. And after 1 hour, I'm going to open it up, see how well cooked the apples are, and see if they need more time. They probably will. That's probably not long enough. And then I'm going to check on it about every half an hour after that till it gets to the doneness I want. Now I'm making a chunky applesauce. If you want it to be a smooth sauce, then once it's done and cooled, put it in a blender, food processor, use your immersion blender, whatever you have on hand to make it smooth. So I'll be back in an hour to show you what's going on. Okay, so it's been an hour. You can probably hear my pressure cooker going in the background, just ignore that. Let's see what we have. I'm just going to use this little mix and chop tool to see what's going on in here. These are hard as can be on top here. Let's mix them around a little bit. Yep. So we're going to need to let these go. I'm going to let them go for another hour before I even look at them. Put the top back on. So we'll be back in another hour to check them out again. The second hour has passed, so let's check this out. And the dogs are fighting over a toy, so you're probably gonna hear that in the background. Okay, this looks better. Sorry about my wobbly crock pot. One of the little feet broke off. I actually found it though, so I'm gonna glue it back on. All right, this is getting better. Now I'm gonna start checking it every half an hour, and I don't know if you can see, let me get a spoon. It's a little bit liquidy down in here. So once it gets closer to being done, I am going to take the top off or maybe just crack the top the lid a little bit to let some of the moisture out. I don't like them super watery. So I'll check it in half an hour. Another half hour has passed and the dog has started whining on cue because that's what she does. All right, let's see what's happening in here. Much better. There are some pretty hard chunks in there still. So, yeah, there's some pretty hard chunks still. Let me stir it up a little. You can see that it's starting to, I'm afraid I'm gonna spill it. Starting to look a little like applesauce. So just let it go a little longer. Gonna try another half an hour. So we'll be back in half an hour. Okay, so another half hour has passed. I think that's 3 hours altogether. I take the top off and give this a good smush. Okay, these are good. These are good. So what I'm gonna do now is just leave the top off and let it go for a little longer to try to evaporate some of the liquid out of it. This is really personal preference. You can leave it as is. You can blend it, as I said earlier, it's all up to you. Taste it at this point and see if it needs any sugar. I'm actually not even gonna bother with that. I'm gonna freeze it the way it is. Instead of adding white sugar, you can add brown sugar to it and it would be super good. It adds a little bit of a, you know, molassesy flavor to it. You can also add cinnamon if you like. I don't actually like to add cinnamon to it because then I feel like it limits what I can do with it. Once some of the liquid evaporates out of this, I am going to let it cool completely, package it up in my vacuum sealer, and freeze it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter at Lee'sHome05. Thanks for watching. Bye.